Man.
Bing bong. I wasn't sure if we should come with the NYC Forever podcast energy or if we should just come with the regular old
vibes.
energy. I don't know, dude.
Dude, I mean, if we had recorded in the parking
The stadium,
lot,
yeah.
it'd have been some wild shit on you. Hey. Hey.
Leave it in.
That's the feeling right now.
Leave it in.
Bro, like, just the roller coaster of today.
Who would have thought?
That game. Should we just start from the beginning?
Yeah.
We had planned pretty airtight to leave here at 5. Didn't. Left here at about 5:30.
Yeah.
Got there late to begin with, like 7 o'clock, 7:10, maybe 12:15.
And at some point, we got in the stadium
right
after the Santi goal was scored, which was a banger, by the way.
Yeah, didn't see it until the drive home.
Yeah.
Didn't heard it. Didn't see it. I mean, it sounded quiet.
Yeah.
But other than some guy going, hey, we scored.
Of course, it was quiet because
right,
we did it in front of Gillette.
Somehow within those 6 minutes, so we went from entering the stadium to at our seats witnessing their equalizer.
Yeah.
Like fully watching them equalize.
And I feel like that was kind of, it wasn't that surprising to me. Because, we heard from the outside that it was scored, so we knew that we were up 1-0, but I didn't feel like, oh, the game's over. Like, we're definitely winning this. Like, it obviously felt like something was coming, and the Revs are a good team. And for the whole game, I honestly think we kind of, I felt at least, and I was probably just looking at it as an NYCFC fan, but I felt at least as if like we were kind of running it for most of the time. Like there were a few moments, and we'll probably like go chronologically, but like one of the major moments was in extra time. You know, once we ended up being a man down, I almost thought for sure we were not even making it to pens. I thought they were finishing it. I mean,
yeah, we'll go through it, but from the moment of like Taty goes ahead, Taty red card, equalizer, I was like, oh, this is the train of events that happens to where we're not leaving here with the dub.
Yeah, and I think one of the coolest experiences too, before we kind of get into a little bit of analysis, is this is like I think the first time that either of us have ever been in like a supporter section environment for this team, and I think really for like any team in the world.
Well, not only that, but I mean to consecutive games, period.
Yeah, that too.
Because of how hard it is with our schedules with traveling and blah blah. I mean, it's hard for us to get to consecutive games. We're gonna go for 3 in a row. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, we made plans much earlier than a sane person would.
Much earlier than we would have admitted had we lost.
Yeah, to literally follow them wherever they go. That's where we're gonna go.
And luckily, it's not Florida.
Yeah, and luckily, it can't be Florida because Orlando was a lower seed than us, but and I don't think Inter Miami made it into the playoffs, but we got lucky enough that it was at Yankee Stadium and then it was at Gillette, which is super close to us. And like you said, we're going to Philly for sure.
Going to Philly.
We're taking that 4-hour drive. That's nothing.
B&B.
And I think I'm excited too to like see all these different stadiums as like MLS venues, because I think this will probably be the first like soccer specific stadium that we've been to, like maybe genuinely ever. I'm sure you've probably been to like an LA Galaxy game or something.
Well, not even that one. I mean, I went to Man U and versus Roma, I think, or AC Milan, or one of the Milans.
Yeah,
but it was still like it was a football stadium. Mm-hmm. That was just converted.
Yeah, so it'll be cool that we talked to like an NYCFC rep that was at Gillette, and he said it's a much smaller stadium, and I think, it might be, at least before the game starts, we can get a good feel of what it might be like to have one of our own someday, and I think that'll be an interesting angle. Yeah.
Hey, for the bozos who don't have a stadium, we're the better team.
Yeah.
No stadium.
Wouldn't you hate to have set single season points record, had the coach of the year, had the goalkeeper of the year, and then also in your first round of the playoffs get awarded Bozos of the Year? That'd be a tough pill to swallow.
Bozo of the year really is Matt Turner. I think that dude is a bum. Like, he's really a bum.
This is so full circle because, I mean, your hate for
I've been
Matt
preaching
Turner
this for a while.
has been every episode.
He's
that
a
you've been
bum.
allowed to.
We created this man, and then we had to destroy him. It really is just a perfect story. And the fact of him, like, pushing Taty after the red card, like, oh, you're tough goalkeeper, you know?
And we can, so let's just try to start going through, like, the minutes of the game. I mean, we already touched on the Santi goal. It was incredible. And I
Wish
think
we saw it.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't. But the problem is, if we did see it, I wouldn't have a voice to record this right now.
True.
The second minute, I wouldn't.
I mean, the voices are barely even hanging in at this point.
They're there because we slept. Well, I mean, you didn't. You drove. But.
Yeah. This guy was literally snoring, knocked out, completely cold about half an hour ago. It is 1:30 in the morning. This is by far the latest podcast we ever recorded. But so after the Santi goal, and then their equalizer, which we mentioned as well, it seemed, like I said earlier, like we were the better team. Like, we had constant chances. Like, it was constant.
Maxi hitting the post.
That was just so many heartbreaking.
There's also moments where we're like, I don't know. At least from our view, obviously we're up. Like, Medina, I felt had a shot at a penalty.
Yeah. Other than that,
I have to see it again.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Other than that, I think I don't want to get like too negative, but he had a pretty shocker of a game today.
Yeah, he didn't play. He didn't play well.
Yeah,
but I mean, Ronnie's stuck with that mindset of like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It is what it is. I mean, Thiago probably plays better.
Yeah,
but also,
although he didn't
really impress either. But they didn't allow him to get on the ball. They did really well at preventing him from getting on the ball.
Well, that was originally, I think. I mean, that's obviously every team's goal when they play us is if you just upset Taty and you completely remove him from the game, they're going to have a tough time. Yeah. And now Philly doesn't even have to worry about that because, unfortunately, Taty did get that red card that we mentioned. But I think that makes it all the more important that Santi, first off scored, and it wasn't a Taty assist either, so it was a goal that ultimately kind of came without needing him. And I think that's something that will be important for us to know that we can do that next game. And also the penalty shootout. I mean, they're penalties, right? But, like, everybody put a ball in the net that meant something. Pretty much all of our big players did that.
Right.
And, like, you need to do that every so often, especially Maxi.
I was shocked with like, yeah. We gotta tell that dude's story.
Yeah, right in front of us.
So funny.
So, like, we're going through the penalty, and I don't want to downplay because this was the most stressful moments of probably our lives.
I didn't look at the Shrotty pen.
As an NYCFC fan.
When I turned around.
And what was Maxi, like, number 3 or 4?
4, I think.
4. And we had scored 3, and they were down 1. And the guy in front of us, as soon as he sees Maxi walking up to the ball, he's like, no, not this guy. In the most, like, New York.
The hateful way. Yeah. Just hate behind his heart. Because, I mean, bro, dude, that's not the guy. I'm just happy we didn't start it off with him because it would have set a tone had it gone south.
And I'll be honest, I'll be the first one to say it too. I had felt what he said out loud in my heart, but I was far too scared to say it out loud.
No, good thing you didn't.
Because I didn't want to put any voodoo on that.
But also,
man.
I mean, he's facing a bozo in Matt Turner's.
Yeah, and I mean, Sean once again earned his paycheck because, I mean, the ultimately the one thing that won us that game was that he saved that. He literally saved that.
I think tactically we were prepared for penalties, and I don't know if that, like, I've never been at a level like inside of a soccer group at all, so I don't know if that's something that you do that you plan for in terms of, like, obviously you'll know the order maybe, or like you'll practice kicking them. Yeah. But I don't know if there's actually an actual plan.
Yeah. Well, I think it got to a point in, like, the 85th and 87th minute where I turned to you and I was like at least by this point, typically Ronnie has made a sub, and the Roach.
No, 71.
Yeah, the Roach doesn't count because that
Rocha
was
played.
forced because of Sands.
That's a whole nother
and we can get
topic.
into Rocha because he is absolutely insane. But 85th, 87th minute, you're like, typically Ronnie makes some changes by now. So I turned and I was like, maybe he's not only, I mean, he's playing for extra time, it seems, for sure, because he wants to save those subs for then. And then even in extra time, you get an extra sub, and I think he elected not to use it. And it was like, this guy...
He didn't even use it on Tayvon, who obviously had a cramp, but
Yeah.
we thought it was something more serious. It looked more serious.
Tayvon, like we say every week, we just get on here and we just sing praises for him because he's an absolute dog. Dude. He couldn't walk, like also, genuinely couldn't walk at points.
We would have liked you to pass it across the goal.
Yeah, he took a shot. But if that shot goes in...
Yeah. I mean, it's a good idea, though, because
I genuinely
everyone
think,
in the building is like, oh, he's going to play it across.
Yeah.
And so, like, why not have it?
I genuinely think if he scores that goal, didn't they just, like, elect a new mayor in New York? I think they just strip that and they just give it to Tayvon. Whenever he crosses the state line tonight or tomorrow on that team PJ, he is now it. Like, he's literally, like, a club legend, kind of. All of a sudden. Like, after that...
Well, stepping into Tanner Holmes' role, definitely. Before we get into, like, the individual players, though, I do think that we plan to attack the middle of those PKs.
Oh, for sure.
We must have some data that's like Matt Turner is a bozo and he always dives one way or the other.
Do you think... This is the one thing I've always wondered is, do you think they even have... Do you think coaches and, like, tactics even have any role in what a player does on PKs? I kind of feel like it's totally up to the guy.
Yes, just in the sense of, like, they'll say, like, oh, I studied this guy on PKs and normally he goes left or whatever.
Yeah, they'll offer the stats.
But I don't know how you keep that in your brain all game and, like, just pull it out at the end.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think you do. Because I think those type of things, like, you don't want to think. You just have to get up there and you have to shoot. And luckily, our man that brought it all home was Callens, who, I mean, getting into individual players.
2 games.
He's won us 2 playoff games.
2 playoff games.
I mean, not single-handedly because, he had to be in a position after all these minutes to do something, but to be in the right place at the right time.
The deciding moment twice.
Yeah, is insane. And he, on defense, has been out of this world. I mean, there's like a handful of players that have all stepped up to a level that we've never seen them at. Callens, Tayvon, Alfredo, like everybody.
Well, it's like those cliches that everyone talks about. It's like, dude, there's just a belief, and there's just a will that wasn't there for certain games. And I think I forgot who wrote the article, but it was kind of like, oh, is Ronnie just putting it all on the playoffs? Like, does he not really care that much about the season? Does he just want to be there? Yeah. And he just wants to throw everything at the playoffs?
It's a post-90 plan. You get in the show, and then that's when it's the show.
Maybe Ronnie's been listening, man.
Hey, he could credit us. I mean, they could ship us rings if this thing goes well.
I'll be honest. There was a point where we thought we were going to have to go play right back.
Yeah. I mean, you were ready to...
I was stretching.
Yeah.
I was getting it going.
It seemed like it because... I mean, we had already put in Rocha, who...
I don't know what the backup to the backup plan is to right back, because it was James Sands was the backup right back before.
To the backup.
So then if he goes down and then Tayvon goes down...
I think we would have had to slot Acevedo in and slide...
was Gloucester on the roster?
Gloucester on the roster?
Was he?
I
saw him there.
I really don't know.
I'm pretty sure I saw him.
We do a terrible job of when we attend games, it's like the phones just don't exist anymore.
No, it just didn't.
And it's definitely not good for the Twitter analytics, but it's great for the heart and the mind.
Yeah,
keeps you in it.
We did another thing of like just trying to be there.
But I think, I mean, one thing we definitely want to mention in that list of players that have played completely beyond a level that we've ever seen. I think the most surprising would be Tony Rocha.
Yeah, and I think if
he played like he's a starter today.
If Sands' injury is more severe than we like, I'm very confident in the Roach.
Yeah, and it's crazy because in the post game presser after the Yankee Stadium game against Atlanta, Ronnie said, the thing with Callens, he was like, if it wasn't going to be Callens, it was going to be Tony. And I was like, I was a little surprised because I was like, are we sure like that Tony's good to go? And I think somebody even kind of brought that thought up to Ronnie, and he was like, I have no doubt that anybody that I put in, including Tony, is ready to go. They've showed me that in training. And then for that to be the truth
he's
insane.
He's kind of a life hack at that position because he's so quick, but also very good defensively, and he just does a really good job. He just does his job.
Yeah. I hope we don't lose him like we lost Ibiaga at some point, like next season. That would suck. After seeing that would suck.
I think keeping Roach, what's often the blow of possibly losing like a James Sands or somebody like that. Because even making it this far, there's the reality of like not the same 11s coming back next year.
Yeah.
Which I think we should start coping with now.
Yeah. We were talking about it in the car. We're like, so what happens when we sell like half of the starting 11 for like 50 mil, and then Man City launders that money to their own account, and we're left with who knows? Medina. I forgot about that. And good Monson, Tor Ronson. Like, dude, bro, they didn't even attempt. The announcers at Gillette, I mean, let's be honest, it was on purpose. And that's what I would do. If,
it was to be disrespectful,
yeah,
but it's all right.
If, like, Tayvon, or is his first name? If Buchanan came to Yankee Stadium and I happened to be Ian Joy, Buchanan is subbed on. I'm just butchering everybody's name. Give him nothing.
Buchanan.
Yeah, I don't know. This is just a great thing. This is great.
It feels good. I mean, I'm happy that we didn't drink because we probably would be asleep right now.
Yeah, I mean, you were already asleep.
Saying wild things. I mean, I did.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We're on to Philly.
I
don't know what else we can really say. I'm probably too tired to.
We'll absolutely be there. We like talk. I think we conversed with a few people about the podcast at the game today. Some said they would tune in, so that's cool. So shout out you if you end up listening to this right now. Shout out you. And we forgot to do our stuff at the beginning, so let's just do it at the end.
Do it at the end and just flop it.
Possibly. Follow us on Twitter at Post90Pod.
If you listen to us only, I mean, if you go to Twitter, you can see our mugs.
Yeah. If you come to YouTube,
you can see.
See the video.
You can see the better part of our mug. I mean, the picture probably. I mean, it's debatable.
Oh, our picture from the game. Yeah.
His girlfriend doesn't have that many heads. I promise you.
She has like maybe 4 to 5 layers of hoodies on.
That's just insane.
She's not an alien. It's just hoods. A lot of hoods. So yeah, follow us at Post90Pod. If you're on YouTube, give us a sub, give us a like, and we're gonna have this one out pretty quick for you guys, and we'll talk to you after Philly.
Yeah, and
go RSL, go NYCFC.
We are RSL boys. Bobby Wood. Let's go, son.
Bobby Wood.
Have a day, son.
Amelia? You know the guy. He's pretty old. And he's like their Maxi, I think. But yeah, thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.